Welcome to Unsigned 518. I am here with P. Gutter. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. And I guess, we talked a little bit before we got rolling, but basically I want you to be able to tell your story the way that you want to tell it. Sure. I don't do research on my guests other than the music. So
okay.
I don't, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, hey, tell me about the time that this happened because I researched it. So it's up to you, I guess, to tell the story.
Absolutely.
So, Mike's all yours, I guess.
All right, cool. So I guess I'll start out by saying, just to give context, I definitely started out with aspirations, of being a recording artist, being a rapper. But I had inspirations in music. I would say people like a Russell Simmons, Master P, Sean Puffy Combs, people who they were in the music business, but showed us how many different ways you can make money.
Right. They were almost like talent scouts in some way,
Yeah, so definitely Master P was probably the biggest blueprint because he came at it from an independent standpoint. And I felt like it's important for me to highlight that aspect of it because no matter how much I collaborate with other record labels, be them independent or major, I'm always trying to maintain as much independence and control over my situation as possible. So probably the best way to start out would probably be from my very first album. Of course, there's a lot of training and everything that led up to that. But I feel like that's probably the best place to start because that's the start of me implementing everything that I experienced and learned up to that point and really started putting it into action. So the very first professional release project I put out was in 2004, and it was a project called Hood Life, and at that time I was actually known as Poverty. So I grew up in Albany, and people got to know me as that name, and that name was actually an acronym, and it stood for Poetic, Outspoken Verses, Effectively Reaching the Youth. And I felt like that name really embodied everything that I stood for, as far as I was definitely a self-made person who didn't come from much, but knew how to do a lot with a little. So even though I didn't have a lot of money, I always knew how to make it look good. And then, like I said, each one of those things in that acronym really made up who I was as a person, but also the message that I wanted to stay constant in the music. So, growing up in, the Arbor Hill section of Albany, New York, I grew up right in the, as they say, the trenches. I was exposed, to everything, but I always had kind of a different perspective in a way that I looked at, to where I was like from the street, but not in the street. I could, if that makes sense. And people who live in impoverished neighborhoods and ghettos and hoods, they'll understand, say when I put it that way.
Right.
I sold drugs, but I wasn't like a drug kingpin. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't supplying
Right.
I wasn't supplying the area anything like that. It's like I was doing what broke people did. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had whatever type of job or income or whatever, but it wasn't enough to sustain you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you supplemented.
That's exactly the word that I was just going to say. I'm like, sometimes you got to supplement shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm not saying I
you
never sold any
your
weed in my
income
life.
in different ways. I'll put it that way.
Totally.
Yeah, so some people knew me, from music. Some people knew me from being my customer or what have you. But it was like when I put out that project Hood Life, it was like all the worlds that I was a part of, all the different circles that I was a part of, like it all came together in that project. Because now, once I'm now presenting them with this physical copy of a body of work, now they're like, oh, he really is an artist. He's not just standing, on the corner like rapping and freestyling. It's like he's
And
he's really got
like,
something serious going on.
if you're going back to like 2004, like
Yeah.
even just like the difference, we're talking 20 years, like it doesn't sound like a ton, but like to put out something physical back then,
Right.
it has to be
Way
different than what's
different
going
meaning.
on now. Like
Way different
It was harder, it was harder to get that. Like
To that
now,
point.
like, I mean, you want a fucking CD, like, I'll go on the internet and
Right.
I can scream into my cell phone, send an MP3 to a company and get a physical CD. Like, you couldn't do that back then. Like, so like, what was the struggle to get it actually
Man.
physical?
So obviously there's the financial part,
Right.
number one. So the financial part, period, like you said, you're talking about now it being 2024, and where was technology at in 2004
And access. Like,
versus 2024, to where, like you said, just even being able to record an album, like
Right.
how much harder was it to record an album in 2004 versus now? So there was that aspect. So where I had a little bit of an advantage was I did have a music mentor. So my music mentor was known affectionately to the Capital District as Drew. So Drew was from Buffalo, New York, and his full name was Charles Andrew Stitt, and his brother is Levi Ruffin. So Levi Ruffin was one of the members of Rick James' Stone City Band. So Drew's connection to the music industry, the real music industry,
Right.
was very strong. So like his brother would actually come into when he would visit. He would visit his brother, obviously, and he would come into the sessions. So me and Drew actually ended up becoming like business partners, to where he was a sound engineer, a studio engineer, taught me how to become a studio engineer and a real producer. And we would actually start tag teaming on sessions. Some like he would book sessions, and he might do the first half, I might finish the second half, and vice versa. And then his brother would come into town, and really from a music standpoint, I'm talking about like from like instruments, like helping me advance and become a better musician, and actually putting my hands on keys and things like that. And we're talking about somebody who has, Grammys and American Music Awards and stuff,
right.
and he's just kicking it with us and laughing and telling jokes, and stories about Rick James and stuff, and on the road and stuff. And it's like,
Did you ever meet Rick James?
No, never met Rick James. Actually, when Rick James passed, my partner Drew was actually one of the pallbearers.
Oh, no way.
For his funeral. Yeah, so that's kind of like a inclination of how my man's just showing off right now.
Dude, people can't see it, but Calvin, every once in a while, my dog will like fall in love with a guest, and like this shit happens where like no matter what I do, he's like, no, I'm hanging out.
I think it's because like I don't have any animals at home, so he's not like even sensing any competition.
He's getting I could see it was coming too. He's like looking there, and he's like, I wonder if I just jump up there.
Yeah,
hey, Calvin, bud.
He's like officially
stop.
co-hosting.
Yeah, he's usually not this up in the guest business, but he likes you. Yeah.
I'm saying as long as he hangs out, like he's cool. He's not bothering me.
There he goes. He's like, I'll lay down. Everything will be fine. Well, because and one of the things, like going back to like what you were saying about like Master P and like how like they were like cultivating talent. Rick James was certainly in that same camp of like he wasn't just a hey make me come up here and everybody else. Like he was someone that brought would find people and be like that person's talented. Let's get them. And he's from Buffalo, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So so that's what I mean. Is like me being exposed to all of that and being in the Capital District was rare, like an anomaly. Like that's not the makeup of our area. We don't have that kind of access to people in the music industry who are really at that level. We unfortunately had a lot of people, and still do, in our area who professed to hold those types of positions in the music industry, and then once the curtain is pulled back, then we see, there really is no wizard. this guy has no this guy has no power.
Right.
And for me that wasn't the case. I really had somebody who understood that music was a business and needed to be treated that way at all times. Unfortunately, Drew was somebody who was deeply in the game, but he was in the game enough, to be done wrong, to be hurt by the music business, and had deep wounds and scars that hadn't healed, and he just took the position of, I'm never gonna let anybody come into my studio and record and not have the knowledge and the tools that they need to protect themselves. So that was also another advantage, leg up, that I had on other people. Was I wasn't just coming to the studio to record. I was coming to the studio to be educated.
Because most people, would just maybe sit in the studio or be like, let the producer do their thing.
Yeah, I'm just here to rap.
Yeah, they just do their thing and then they do whatever.
Rap,
but like,
so that's
so you would take it as a learning opportunity,
and that's literally like how my session was. Like, a friend of mine had knew that I was looking for a producer, a place to record. It's Albany. We don't really have any places and stuff like that, or people that I trust that it's gonna come out. The way that I want to. So I'm putting my feelers out. So I actually did have a friend of mine, shout out to DJ Do. He did have a connection, with Master P and No Limit, and he was traveling back and forth, out there. So he would come back with more information from us, and he was like, man, if you're really ready to take this seriously, he's like, you need to go out to North Albany and hook up with my man Drew, because he's the guy that you need. So again, I'm just going there. I'm ready to rap, and and I get there, and so we do the same kind of thing like when we got here. We did the formalities and just sat and kicked it for a while to get a feeling for each other or whatever. I'm like, all right, and then we're gonna record. We're gonna record a song, and then my man comes out with a book, and I know it was written by Donald Passman, and it's like either like everything you need to know about the music industry or all you need to know about the music industry. And he's like, he was like, I want you to read this book. And I'm like, what
right now?
What's with it's like what's going on? But then just like I told you, that's what he tells me. He's like, look, he's like, I've got 15 years in the music industry. And this thing that you're saying you want to be a part of, it ain't just rapping and singing and making music. He's like, it's full of people who wish you ill will, and you need to protect yourself. And the only way you're gonna be able to protect yourself is to get the knowledge to protect yourself. So he was like, this book has all the information in it that you need, to at least get a foundation. And then he added, and I'm not going to record you until you finish this book. So now I'm like, I'm here with my bread, like my money, whatever money I scrounge together, you know what I'm saying? whether it was legally or illegally. I was like, I got my bread, I'm ready to record, and this guy's talking about, I am not going to take your money and record you until you read this book. I'm like, who did DJ Dude send me to?
That's
I'm
like,
getting
that's
the hell
like
out of
fucking
here.
Mr. Miyagi shit, you know? Like,
Right, exactly.
he's like, go out and wax my car.
Yeah,
You
right,
know?
right,
Like,
right.
what the fuck?
So I was like, except for the fact of that he played the things that came out of that room.
Right.
He played me the music that came out of that room, which was like, I do want that. That is the level of quality that I want, but I don't want to have to go through this book to get to that recording.
Yeah.
But he was not playing around. He was dead serious about it. So he was like, we're not recording nothing today. Here's this book, and call me when you're done with the book, and then we'll have a session and stuff like that. And he was like, and don't play yourself, because I'm gonna quiz you on the book, and if I can see that you really didn't read it, and I'm gonna send you back out until you really read the book. But that you all right, buddy? you fall asleep?
Yeah, I think he did. He was like, now it looks like he's all like embarrassed. So you read the book?
Right. So I recorded an album with Drew. So yeah, I read the book. But in reading the book, it was like it just opened my brain to this whole new.
And was it like a lot of like legal sides of the business, or like?
Well, yeah. So the way that the book is constructed, it's like it's a lot of stories. So it's a lot of stories.
This could happen to you, type
right.
of
So
things.
right. So it was like a personal account of like what this guy went through in the music business, and like like the peaks and valleys and the pitfalls and the traps, and so it's like it's not mundane reading. Like there really is like a story going on. It's not just a bunch of legal jargon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That helps kind of draw you into, but it's an introduction into what you're getting yourself into, which is what I try to let that be my conversation with people who see the success that I've had, and they come to me almost like for a consultation, and I kind of try to make it broader than music when I'm talking to them. I'm like, music is a business. This is treat it or a career, that you want to go into. And I said, whenever you're deciding that, there's a business or a career that you want to do, like you really need to do real research on what this thing really is versus what you believe it to be. Because once you find out what it really is, you might realize, oh, I thought I wanted to do that, but what this thing really is like, nah, I don't want to do that.
And I mean, that could probably apply to any, like, you could take what you just said and like apply it to anything. You're like, oh, I love baking bread. I want to be a bread baker. Then you look into it and you're like, ah, shit. Like, you know how many hoops you got to go through to like,
right.
So like,
and it's like, nah, I'll just keep going to the bakery. I
right.
don't make bread that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
music's just a piece of it. Then.
Exactly. So it was like, with that being my introduction, to really making music like on a professional level, it's like I want everybody to have a chance to have that kind of introduction to music, because that's the real introduction versus the music videos. And now, like I said, 2004 music videos, now it's social media, YouTube, and everything that we're shown that's not real. We're shown the show, and it's like every show, ends, and then there's the real life that happens. So it's like, but they never show you that, because that's behind the scenes, and
because
and it's not glamorous, and it's not enticing. What we're always looking at sales pitches. You know what I'm saying? So a sales pitch is gonna give you all benefits, and no disadvantages. They're not gonna show you the bad. They're gonna show you the good stuff. So I always, because it's usually young people that's coming to me who don't have any guidance, who don't have a mentor. So I'm like, I don't have time to be your mentor or nothing like that, but I can at least give you like a realistic place to start.
And I mean, sometimes just a couple of sentences,
Yeah.
telling someone, a few words
Exactly.
can be enough for, like, it makes sense, and like they start to see the light. Even if you just say, a couple things like
Right.
watch out or protect yourself, or,
And that's what I was gonna say. When you're saying stuff like that, it's showing like
it's not all gumdrops and lollipops.
Well, that you
like it's
that you give a fuck about somebody besides yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's not a self-serving conversation. So I had a consultation just this past week. With I think it was a manager of artists. It wasn't an artist. It was a manager of an artist. But he could tell right away, like from our conversation, he was like, "This guy's different." You know what I'm saying? Because he ended up contacting me based on the success that he saw happening with my page, not what I'm posting, but the engagement of my posts is like this guy has real stuff going on.
He's throwing
this is
fucking
not
numbers,
smoking
man.
mirrors. Where he's just throwing stuff on on Instagram or whatever and just getting people to click on it. He's like going through, like he said, like he did his homework, and he was like, nah, he's like, this guy really has good real stuff going on. So he reached out to me. But my first conversation with him, most conversations that go from like a Instagram or social media to a phone conversation, usually the person that you contacted, that person has the upper hand because you contacted them. And in the music industry, it's like this conversation is going to lead to some type of me asking for a payment,
right,
for some type of service. Music business is transactional. It's not a bunch of friends hanging out. Once you get to the point of I do this for money, everybody involved is like it's transactional. So no matter how much fun we're having, you know what I'm saying, doing it's like this is a transactional relationship, and they're used to those conversations. By the end of a conversation, it's and this is my fee,
right.
But our conversations didn't lead to a fee because that's obviously what eventually you're going to need to receive some type of revenue, some type of income. But my whole thing is I don't need to get it from the people who are coming to me, who are just looking for information. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to actually do a record, there's a fee attached to that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're literally just trying to like form like some type of relationship with me to where I can be a person that you can come to, be like, hey, I just want to run this by you. It's like I don't have to charge you a fee. Now, if you want an actual like consultation, like I'm gonna be
like
doing a deep dive. If I'm doing like a deep dive,
a
consultation, and like helping you build your business, there's a consultation fee, and it's really not really based on the information as much as it's based on the time. Because I really do this,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm setting aside this amount of time and I'm gonna only be focused on you, and that's gonna be taken away from all the other things that I do to get money. You're gonna have to supplement that money that I would would have been making somewhere else. But as far as just doing DMs back and forth and stuff like that, it's like nah. Like I want everybody who has the same goals that I want us all to be able to win. And
I do the same like with this podcast. I've done more than 200 episodes of it, all local musicians, and like I have people reaching out to me all the time that I have a show coming up who could possibly play with this, or I need fill-in guitarist, or I need something. People reach out to me all the time, and I was like, I like helping. It's just a couple of tech, but if someone was like, hey, I need this, I want you to produce this thing, and it's going to take
want a service.
Many hours, and but what you said about how everything else goes to the wayside, that's what resonated with me, because I'm like, if I like need to stop fucking everything
right
and do this, then it's going to cost.
Then it's going to cost. Like time is Time is the number one
Right.
commodity on the planet.
Yeah, especially at my age.
Right. So like, so yeah, so going, so to kind of like, circle back and sum up like what we're saying, it's like I wanted everybody to have a chance to have the same type of introduction to the music industry that I had. Now it's up to that individual how serious, they're gonna take it. And a lot of times I know that I'm actually scaring people away who after that conversation are probably never gonna come back to me again because I'm not sales pitching them.
Right. You're
I'm
giving them
not,
the truth.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not telling them the attractive things that they want to hear. That's going to be like, yes, this is exactly what I want to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, like I'm not helping feed their pipe dream.
Right.
And to some people I know it's like I'm busting their bubble with all this reality. And that's
But
cool.
would they rather find out from you?
Right.
Or would they rather put in fucking, years of work and all this stuff and then find out,
I'll tell you the crazy thing though, it is that kind of like caught in the Matrix mentality though.
Right.
Some people would rather live in the Matrix. They're like in this fake reality, I'm a superstar
Right.
and I'm gonna be rich and famous one day. All I have to do is keep doing this thing that I'm doing right now. Even if in reality we know that thing that you're doing is never going to get you to where you're saying you want to go. And that's who you know who's real and who's not. The people that are thankful and have gratitude for that real information you're giving them, I'm like, oh, that's really the way I'm going to make it happen. They come back.
Right.
And those are the people.
They just readjust their plan.
Yeah. Those are the people that okay, they really are serious about turning this dream into a reality. And I feel like my life is the perfect example for people in this area to look at as someone who has many dreams and has turned many dreams into reality. And that's the value that I know I bring to any situation that I'm put into. And I have that confidence about that because I know I've done the real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not just out here flexing on social media.
Right.
Like I don't even show y'all a fraction of what I'm really doing behind the scenes because I know that's not number one, that's not what people want to see. And number two, it's like, it's not it's none of your business.
Right. That's the secret.
Like,
give away the secret.
I've been fortunate enough to gain some great relationships in the music business with people who are real, they're major players, and they've let me so far into their lives on a personal level. It's like the stuff that I'm doing with these people, like it's not for the public. So I can just make a post and say, hey, working with this person, but I can't show you what our day was that day.
Right.
It was too personal. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't for you. It was for me.
Sense. It wasn't performative.
It was for me, but it wasn't for me to share.
Right.
And I believe that I've been able to maintain a lot of relationships that I have in the music industry because I operate that way.
Right.
And they know, I'm a safe space. You know what I'm saying, for them to let their guard down. Cause you know what I'm saying, we ain't gotta worry about him doing nothing crazy or, just trying to get clout off of my name. And for me, it's like the relationship means way more to me, than the clout thing.
100%.
But yeah, so 2004, that was everything that I learned from 1998 when I first walked into Drew's room, all the way to having a physical project completed, a project that I did all the production on, that I co-engineered with Drew, that I did the art direction, the graphics. At that time I wasn't proficient enough at Photoshop to actually do all the graphics, but I was sitting right there,
Right, you directed
with
it.
the graphic designer. Like, no, this is the way it has to be. I'm not accepting anything else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to get it there, but I need X, Y, and Z. So it was literally it was a project that it was all me. It was all different facets of me. But yeah, it was called Hood Life, and like I said, my name was Poverty at that time, and that was also my introduction to the world. That I'm I'm here to make a contribution to this art form, and to show everybody in this town, um, that I'm dead, I'm dead serious about this. So I don't know how long you've been in the area. Do you know about like when Strawberries and Music Shack?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. I moved over here in like 2004, down to Troy.
Okay, wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah, what a coincidence. Yeah, actually, well, fuck, I didn't even think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2004, I moved from Vermont to Troy. So yeah, I know like a little bit. I did the local music show on EQX when I lived in Vermont.
Okay.
So like I've been aware, kind of tangentially of the local scene, but I wasn't like here. I wasn't going to Strawberries and
I
like
got you.
hanging
Yeah.
out there. Like
Yeah, so Strawberries was like right. I'm trying to. I know it was like in the same block. I'm not sure if it was right next door, but I know it was definitely in the same block. So there was Strawberries, and there was Music Shack. So those were the places that if you were, a local, or I don't want to say local, I just an independent artist. If you were an independent artist, these were places that if you had physical product, you could get your stuff on the shelf, and you're still sitting next to all of your other, mainstream
like they didn't
artists.
separate like
Yeah.
local and
Nope.
national.
Everything
It was
was
just
just
like
it was just alphabetized. If you had the same, initials as Jay-Z, your stuff would be sitting right next to Jay-Z. And then also they would do like new releases. So if you were a new release, they would just put you with the new
wow.
releases. Yeah. So it was like what they did for independent artists locally and abroad was awesome. Because it gave you that same light without, it's like I said, after learning the business, without having to pay the same prices that the artists that was on those major labels,
Right.
what they were paying to be upfront, in the store and distribution,
Even
and stuff
to
like
have the
that.
placard, like the little placard separating the CDs, to have like your name, like that was a deal made. I'm sure it
Right.
wasn't just like, oh yeah, well,
But so again, but it was about presentation and knowing how to approach them as a business owner. I put that album out underneath my own record label. My record label at the time was Upstate Records, and that's what was, all my stuff was barcoded, and it said, where it was recorded, mixed, and mastered, and distributed by Upstate Records. You know what I'm saying? So it was like everything, the way it was packaged was professional. The way I approached the owners of the different, establishments, it was good, because those were Music Shack definitely was a mom and pop. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like it wasn't a corporation they
Right.
had to get approval from or nothing like that. It was like if you were able to sell the owner on it, then it was in every store that they had. So that's what I mean. But just being able to have a switch to turn on, to turn off, being able to turn off the artist switch and turn on the business owner switch, that's a skill
yeah,
that has to be learned and mastered.
that is usually uh, given to somebody else to do.
Right.
People hire someone to do that part of it,
Exactly.
which is an expense. And like not only is it a skill to have it, but it's a fucking your money saving device. You know what I mean? You don't have
and
to.
and some people, I won't even say some, I'll say the majority, other people who control, what's going on in music business, people call them gatekeepers, whatever. The business people in the music business do not want to talk to an artist. It's like they don't care if you have that skill set. If
Right.
you're the artist, you're not.
The artist probably doesn't
They
want to talk to the business
your
people.
manager. Yeah, they want to talk to your manager.
Yeah.
Who can understand the language.
Right.
Hopefully he's an experienced manager, so he already knows the game, the song and dance. You know what I'm saying? So stuff that is like you just go over there and be an artist, and me and your manager are gonna talk. But also unfortunately, a lot of business people are lied to by the artists as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's all different parts of it. It's not all like we're trying to take advantage of you because you're an artist. It's also because it's like I need to talk to the business person who's gonna make sure that, you know,
You're just
whatever
in two different worlds.
Yeah, it's like whatever we agree on, like it's real. The manager's gonna make sure like it really happens.
Right.
Like you're the artist, like you could just go off and get high somewhere, and you forgot about the whole conversation. And
right, and someone might even come get you and tell you where you need to be. And
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So that's the manager's responsibility to make sure that the artist is where they're supposed to be and stuff like that. Is they're not looking at you that way. So there was instances where, knowing that, some things I was able to, you know, navigate myself and present myself as the artist and the manager. And then sometimes I would have to send somebody else in, even if, you know, they weren't contractually my manager or nothing like that. It's like, I know I need somebody to send in as a representative. So I would sit down with the person and, you know, game plan and be like, okay, this is what I need to have happen in this meeting.
And were you doing that basically so that the people wouldn't look at you as just an artist or whatever? Like,
they have a totally different face to look at.
Right.
You know, I'm just saying, like, this is my manager, so they have no choice, you know, but to believe me.
Right.
But I know it's like I'm still pulling the strings. I just need.
This is all performative for you guys, you know.
I need my wishes to come out of a different mouth, just so you'll take it seriously. And so I knew like what situations I could do myself, and when I knew I had to send, you know, somebody else in to do that.
So I think we should probably hear a song now.
Absolutely.
Are you down with that? What do we want to play for everybody?
So one of the music videos that I have out right now is for a song called Dollar Bill. That was actually features Rick Hyde from Black Soprano Family. We went down. He actually was he's from Buffalo too. So that was the other thing. It was like when the rappers and Griselda and everybody started coming out of Buffalo, like me not living in Buffalo but having, you know, those ties to people that came out with my mentor and Rick James and whatnot, it was kind of like we all won. Right. When those guys, you know, got signed to Eminem and stuff like that. So definitely, like, as soon as those guys really started popping, I made sure they were one of the first people that I reached out to and was like, look, I love what you guys are doing. I'm happy for you guys, and I want to work with you guys. And when they heard my music, it was a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, you're at the same level as us. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're doing you a favor or nothing like that. You know, and our subject matter, you know, was the same. Our backgrounds were the same. So the chemistry, it just worked. So I've done a lot of work with those guys. But Rick Hyde he was living in Atlanta at the time. I believe he still does. And he actually had me come down to Atlanta and shoot the music video down there. But the song is called Dollar Bill. Featuring me and Rick Hyde, and that'll be the first record we do today.
All right, let's check out Dollar Bill, and then we'll be right back with P Gutter.
It's Ricky. Look, back against the ropes. Muhammad in the 10th round. Make a call to Poppy and his brother, get him sent down. Get him off the boat, bring them bitches in town. And I'm charging 81 a piece, that's a 10 round. Buddies for the 80, got a nigga wavy. You ever made so much money, it made you lazy. Screaming, fuck you, pay me. You ever try and play me? I be laughing to the bank while they taking you to Grady. 100,000 this year, next year I'ma double that. 100 shots yesterday, today we gon' double back. Grew up on the corner where it's hope with all the trouble at. 30 shots or better, get this sounding like some bubble rap. I ain't have to mumble rap, still doing numbers on them. At this rate I'm going, it's gonna be hard to stay humble on them. Dollar bill, y'all, to the grave or to the steel bars. I do this shit forever, if you let me, bitch, I dare, y'all. It's Ricky.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
A young buck selling drugs and such, who never had much.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Trying to get a clutch on what I could not touch.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
The court play me short, now I face incarceration.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Life as a shorty shouldn't be so
I was in upper positions growing up, I was a misfit. Till I hit the kitchen whipping for the dough like biscuit. Started hitting licks of candy cane like it was Christmas. Snowing on the court, fiends needed my assistance. Knew I would deliver like Malone about my business. Bundles triple-double, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Started out with pitching, made a smooth transition. Crossed over county lines, now I'm in a new position. No more hand to hand, cutting up the competition. Picked up the weight in person and collecting up commissions. Never on consignment, always paid up front, that's why they like me. I was sturdy, even when the friends tried to indict me. Married to the game, and the music was my mistress, she excite me. Praying karma don't come back to bite me. I was seeing checks way before the shipments coming in with Nikes. Pumping like a Reebok in the 90s. In the trenches where you find me. If they gave out awards, I win a Grammy. Try to leave that state of mind behind me. Watch too many mothers lose their sons behind a homie. Pay my mother, never see them use white chalk to outline me. I want that dollar bill, y'all.
A young buck selling drugs and such, who never had much.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Trying to get a clutch on what I could not touch.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
The court play me short, now I face incarceration.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough.
Just another boy from the hood, I got Ricky with me. And we both about that dope, boy, we cruising the city. We from a place where most of us never make it to 50. Just to get a shiny neck piece, they gon' pop you like a Rice Krispie. If I catch a nigga acting shady around my lady, ain't a marshal that can save you, I swear on my babies. I ain't a killer, this is what they made me. Look what I became, God from a king, on fire like Hades. I'm paranoid, don't hold it against me. When I watch my friend kill his other friend while riding a 10-speed, I try to act like it doesn't affect me, but my heart is cold, guess that's just my instincts trying to protect me. With every hater, it's the same old jazz, they detest me, cause I'm blowing money like Dizzy Gillespie. I've been ballin', should've won an ESPY. Top 10 on Sports Center, I've been riding this wave like a jet ski. All this ice on me, they gon' try to slide on me. Nice with a stick and a blade, they compare me to Gretzky. For the chips, they try to chin check me. Now they laying in the penalty box, don't ever disrespect me. I got money coming in correctly, and you talking trash while I'm getting bags and they all hefty. That's why your baby mama think I'm sexy. She know the real from the fake, so your streaming numbers don't impress me. I want that dollar bill, y'all.
A young buck selling drugs and such, who never had much.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Trying to get a clutch on what I could not touch.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
The court play me short, now I face incarceration.
I want that dollar bill, y'all.
Life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough.
It's gutter, baby.
All right, that was Dollar Bill, P Gutter, and that one you said that's like a more recent single. But
Yeah.
if we're I've been thinking, we were talking about 2004,
Right.
Hood Life, and the difference between the 20-year gap. But I guess I want to kind of go back and wrap up the story of Hood Life in 2004 before we move on.
Oh no, 100%. So we kind of talked about, everything it took and what I was able to accomplish as far as being able to make a physical product that was sold in the stores. And I purposely brought up Music Shack because for a lot of local artists, even though they were helping out artists all over the country, for local artists in the 518, at that time, a lot of them felt like Music Shack was the finish line. Like that was the Grammys for them. You know what I'm saying? Or that was getting signed to Rockefeller for them. Is like, if I can just get a physical product made and actually get it into Music Shack, I can die today and I've done everything that I want to do in music. And like I said, because of the people who I aspired to be like a Master P and stuff like that, it was like, no,
That's barely even the starting line.
Yeah, I was
like
that's great that happened, but like, nah, like I'm not satisfied. This is not the ceiling for me. I know I have a lot, more to do. So I actually did, once I had it in the stores, I was like, okay, now it's ready for step 2, which is now I need to promote this thing. So I was actually able to hook up, with I don't know what, I guess it's just the best way to call them, a community that was out here, and it was actually helping local artists who wanted to be independent and push their own music. It was a collective, so it was called Pitch Control Music. So shout out to JB Dirty Moses and,
Yeah.
and Sev
Love that
Static.
dude.
Yeah, those guys.
He's appearing on my band's record that is coming out in a couple months.
So like JB, it was like me and him were like releasing projects at the same time, and we're in Music Shack at the same time, and had CDs, right up at the counter, right next to each other. So we were in the trenches like at the same time, like building this thing, and they were instrumental in helping me go from just having the music in the stores to actually being able, to book shows and go out to the public and promote that way. Because for me, that's always been the best way for me to sell my music, has always been in person.
Right.
It's good to have your stuff, because like you said, we're talking about 2024 right now. It's good to have, your stuff on the internet and push your stuff on the internet and stuff like that. But that realness and that connection of versus people always are so happy. I can't say like happy. They're just like,
it means
I guess
more.
like pleasant. I'll say like pleasantly pleased.
Right.
That the person that they meet in person with me is the same person that I am on the internet.
Right.
And like I said, it's another one of those things, that's rare, and it's appreciated. I'll say they appreciate it. So going back, doing, shows with those guys at like Pitch Control and stuff like that was also, for me, it helped me really own my skills in this area, as far as being a live performer. So one of the roadblocks that I actually ended up running into, it wasn't about like actually making the product. It was actually from a health standpoint. I was in a meeting with Pitch Control Music, and they were kind of just, it was like an introductory meeting, like telling me like who they are, you know what I'm saying, like what their community is about and stuff. And I'm in this meeting, and I'm trying to like concentrate and retain the information that they're giving me, but I'm having like this unbelievable pain, like creep, like I think it believed, like it started in my back, and then it started like creeping over my shoulder, and then like down my chest. And it's like the longer the meeting is going, I'm like sinking like down into my chair, like lower and lower, like not letting anybody know what's going on, but I'm trying to have like the hugest threshold for this amount of pain that I'm having, and just like get through this meeting. And that night, obviously the pain got worse and worse until like the next morning. I was on the floor in my living room. Now I'm just like doubled over in pain, and I can't move, and I can't hardly breathe because the pain in my chest is so bad. It's not even let me take like full breaths no more, and I'm like, I think I'm dying. So luckily somehow I was able to get a hold of my girlfriend, and she came home and saw me on the living room floor, and luckily was able to get me to the hospital and things like that. Had no idea the whole time that I was in that meeting, I had a blood clot in both of my lungs.
Holy shit.
And they were literally like, if they don't get you to the hospital
any second,
like 15 minutes later than what they did, like you wouldn't be here. And that gave me a totally different perspective on what making a body of work really meant. Like the album was already finished, it was already out there, it was on the shelves, and I'm like, that could have been my last message to the world. Right. But it would have been something that lived on way after I was gone. And it kind of gave me making music and making art and making songs, it gave it a totally different level of gravity and meaning to what am I actually putting out into the world, and how do I want to be remembered. But I remember after that, like, thank God, 20 years later, we're having this conversation right now. So obviously, things improved. But for me, it was really like, I I have to not only take the music business itself seriously, but what I'm saying on these records, has to have more of a meaning than just something cool to say on a record or just getting on the radio or in the clubs. I really want to leave something here that I'm proud of. So it's like that type of clarity, like in that moment. So, and then the urgency as well of, the tomorrow not being promised. It also put a different battery in my back as well. It's like, look, I don't know, if I'm going to record the next record and, all these aspirations that I have for the music business, is all these things going to happen for me or not? I've got to hit the ground running. And that's really what I did. Like I said, it just, that urgency was way different. So I didn't really listen to the doctor as much as I probably should, where there was like, rest and getting I went right back into the studio. So now I'm recording records with blood clots still in my lungs. Like I can't even hardly get up the stairs to the studio. I'm out doing shows. I'm performing on stage. People don't know I'm on stage performing because just because you go into to the hospital, the blood clots don't go away. Right. They put you on medicine. The medicine does not make the blood clot go away. All it's doing is it's just thinning out your blood enough so that your body can dissolve the blood clot, but the blood clot is still there. So the blood clot was actually lodged in between my lungs and my rib cage. So any times that my lungs would expand, it's pressing the blood clot up against my rib cage, and that's what was causing the pain. But I'm doing shows with pitch control music, and I'm on stage yelling at the top of my lungs, and I got blood clots in my lungs. Just knowing is like, whatever I'm going to do, like I got to do it right now because I don't know how long this is going to last. So thank God we're talking about this 20 years later, and 2024 is the official 20-year anniversary of Hood Life.
That's awesome. So I don't want to cut it super short, but I do have another guest coming in. So
I understand.
This has been just a fucking fantastic conversation. But
Thank you.
The best thing about it is that we only got so far into the story is that you can come back and we'll do another one. But before we go, I do want to hear another song. So what do you have for us for this one?
All right, great. So so my latest release that I put out, and we have a music video that we shot for that one as well. This record is called Making the Band. Excuse me. And this actually features another artist who's recently signed by Benny the Butcher to Black Soprano Family. His name is Flames Malik. He's out of Rochester, New York. And it was actually produced by a good friend of mine. His name is Vinny Idol. He's considered the godfather of street music. He's out of Queens, New York. He's done. I know the Locks are actually going to be performing at the Palace Theater on November 1st, and he's the one who produced the majority of all the tracks, like on all their mixtapes and stuff like that. So it's definitely a record I'm very proud of. And this is called Making the Band, featuring me and Flames Malik.
All right, let's listen to Making the Band, and we'll be right back to wrap it up with P. Gutter.
Vinny Idol, nigga.
Coming home with a quarter brick, got me paid, but it wasn't worth it, so I called it quits. I had a newborn, my girl got thick, milk in her tits. She was used to eating good, now it's no shrimp in her grits. What do I do now? Looking at my new child, I can't raise a son if I'm sitting in the P now. I know people doing life, getting old and see now. If I didn't make a change, that's where I would be now. Working 9 to 5's got me feeling like a slave. But would you rather have a job or lay up in the grave? I had fears of being broke, had to find a legal way to make money, flip on top of money I already made. Every day I'm hustling, I push it to the limit. Don't wanna talk about it if there ain't no money in it. When it comes down to the spinach, I need all of my percentage. I did it on my own, now I'm the captain and lieutenant. Every foreign car you see me drive, I didn't rent it. When you see that barcode on the window, they pretending. Fake it till you make it, now I wouldn't recommend it. Kick it with some real niggas and you understand why we always get offended. Invisible set, the only set I claim. I just want the bands like a wedding ring. I don't want no fans, I don't want no fans. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. don't want no fans. I just want the bands. I push forward, no looking back, unless I'm moonwalking. I kill tracks and throw them inside of new coffins. I'm through talking unless you pay me like Luke Walton. Green on me like KG when he moved to Boston. Getting money is what we do often. Chain flooded with cold stones like Steve Austin. New Porsche got a long nose like a blue dolphin. If you a snake around me, you better use caution. No cap, I'm winning but had a few losses. And in the streets I earn respect from a few bosses. When I was trapping, police sirens would get me nauseous. Now I only get butterflies when the girl is gorgeous. Giving me head inside my corner office. My life got better when I took better offers. Money clean like good China, I eat off it. I pull up in the ride and they ask me what the cost is. If you don't know, then you don't fucking need it. And I ain't even saying that to be conceited. Rich niggas know the price and know I didn't lease it. See, whatever's understood don't have to be repeated. Growing up in Arbor Hill, a nigga couldn't see it. In my hood, only drug dealers had new Adidas, Air Jordans, Fila suits, and Nike sneakers. I couldn't sleep, bass bumping from the car speakers. Wake me up at night, followed by the smell of reefer. Now I'm baking and I got more Franklins than a reefer. Feds watching cause they think I'm still living fat. Graduated from the streets, no cap and cap. School of hard knocks tried to knock me down. Prince of the gutter and I got the crown. Living out the dreams of a ghetto child. I just hope they feel a kid, no pedophile. Invisible set the only set I claim. I just want the bands like a wedding ring. I don't want no fans, I don't want no fans. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. I just want the bands, I just want the bands. I don't want no fans, I don't want no fans. I just want the bands.
Player call a timeout. Life is real, laugh later, cry now. You get the chills thinking about the body count. The pill ain't real, but he still ate it. Brody tripping, think he Kodak Black. Black Soprano family, I'm the gremlin. What is hope? When I had bad dope with good intentions with tranquilizer. I put the horse on it, the old Bensons, I'm a survivor. A COVID-19 in the trenches, 585. High-headed niggas and cold bitches. Save all the small talk, nigga. What's the ticket? I could cook cocaine all the fuck I want to. It's my kitchen. Don't nobody fuck with my kitchen. Feel like Gucci blended fentanyl, just minding my business. I just want the bands, I'ma get it. It's time ticking, eyes clicking. Play this bitch and start spitting. It's Rod Digger, Benny Idol and Pete Gutter. My nigga, on the road to the riches. Come get me, I ride with you, yeah.
All right, that was Megan the Band, and I want to thank you so much, not only for taking time out of your day to sit down and do this, but like for the story. Like, this has just been a really interesting conversation, and again, I want to have you back at some point, and we'll continue the talk. But for now,
yes, sir.
Before we wrap it up,
Yeah.
I want to just give you a chance to say what I refer to as your gratitude. So, microphone is all yours.
So definitely want to give shout outs to my other companies and businesses that I have my hands on or have partnerships with. So I want to give a shout out to Just down at Fresh and Fly Clothing at 13 South North Pearl Street. I partner with him for a long time now, so that's the best place to go to get your fit right. They enhance your swag. So yeah, you'll be able to get, top of the line clothing and sneakers from him. Speaking of clothing, I do have my own clothing line as well. It's called Home Baked Clothing. We have our own, page on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So check that out. Recipes for Success. You already know that's the motto. And, just recently, a lot of people don't know what's about me is that I do dabble in the kitchen a little bit and, on a legal tip. I do dabble in the kitchen a little bit, and I actually started selling my own sauce that I developed. Some people put it in the category as a wing sauce. It's not necessarily a barbecue sauce, but I tell people it's not just me. Everybody who's tasted it, like, man, I put it on everything. It tastes good on everything. So yeah, so that's called Smack Sauce, and that'll also be available on the Home Baked Clothing website. So I encourage anybody that wants to get in touch with me, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all the same tagline. It's just P Gutter Online, PGUTTER Online. And also got to give a one more shout out to my manager in music, it's Tony De Niro. He's also the business manager for Black Soprano Family Records, and also Big Sports Firm, which is the sports agency that Benny the Butcher has started. So Deion Dawkins, I know, is one of their clients from the Buffalo Bills. But shout out to definitely shout out to Tony. He's been very instrumental in helping me put together a lot of these major moves that I'm making right now. But yeah, please go to YouTube. It's P Gutter TV on YouTube for all of the latest music videos that we drop, and also paperchaser.com is the official YouTube outlet that distributes all our music videos as well.
All right. So he is P Gutter. I am Andy Scullin. This is Unsigned518, and I'll see you on the road.
Peace.
Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you'd like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening, or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.